Michael Sterling sat on a park bench, feeling like a king without a kingdom. At 39, he wore a suit that screamed success, yet inside he felt completely hollow. He had built a tech empire worth hundreds of millions. People called him a genius, a visionary. But today, he had nowhere to be. No meetings, no emails. No one waiting for him. His assistant had practically forced him to take a day off, and now here he was, watching families laugh and run across the grass while he sat alone, feeling like the only silent person in a world full of noise. That's when she appeared. A tiny girl in a pink sunflower dress, blonde pigtails bouncing, clutching a wrinkled $50 bill in her small hand. She couldn't have been older than 7. She stopped right in front of him, staring at him with the seriousness only a child can muster. Excuse me, mister, she said softly. Are you busy today? Michael blinked, startled. Not really, he replied. Why? She held out the $50, hands trembling. I have $50, she said, her voice cracking. I need a dad. Just for one day, the world seemed to pause. Michael stared at her, unsure if he heard correctly. I'm sorry, I'm what? A dad, she repeated, swallowing hard. Just today. There's this thing at school, and all the kids are bringing their dads, and I don't have one. And my mom's working, and I saved money, and I thought maybe... Her words spilled out like she'd been holding them inside for too long. Tears shimmered in her eyes. Sweetheart, where's your mom? Michael asked, glancing around, suddenly uneasy. She's at work, the little girl whispered. She's a nurse at the hospital. She couldn't take off, and I told her it was okay, but it's not really okay. Michael's chest tightened. What's your name? Lucy, she said quietly. Lucy Chen. Lucy, I can't take your money, Michael murmured, voice gentle. And I don't know if I'd make a very good pretend dad. Lucy shook her head firmly. I think you'd be good. You look nice, and you're wearing a suit like the other dads. For once, the confident CEO had no words. What is this event? He finally asked. It's career day, Lucy explained. Everyone's parent is talking about their job. I told everyone my dad was coming, even though I don't have one. And they're all gonna find out I lied. Fresh tears rolled down Lucy's cheeks, and Michael felt something inside him shift, like a door he'd kept locked for decades suddenly creaked open. A memory flashed, a younger version of himself sitting alone at a school assembly, pretending he didn't care that every other kid had a dad beside them. His own father had never shown up. Not once. Lucy, he said softly, did your mom say you could ask someone for this? Lucy stared at the ground, kicking at a pebble. No, she doesn't know. I told her I was going to my friend Sarah's house. But I came here instead. I thought I could find someone. Michael should have refused. Should have walked her straight to the nearest police officer or called her mother immediately. But instead, against every logical instinct, the next words simply slipped out. When is career day? In 2 hours, she whispered, hope flooding her voice. Michael exhaled, pulled out his phone. Okay. First we call your mom. Lucy's face fell like he had just shattered her last piece of courage. She'll be mad. She'll be so worried. And that, Michael said gently, is exactly why we need to call. He dialed the hospital. I need Nurse Chen, please, he told the receptionist. A moment later, a weary but gentle voice answered. This is May Chen. Mrs. Chen, Michael said. My name is Michael Sterling. I'm here at the park with your daughter, Lucy. There was a sharp inhale. She's supposed to be at her friend's house. Oh my God, is she safe? She's safe, Michael assured her. She came looking for someone to go to career day as her dad. Silence. Then a choked sob. I'm so sorry, Lucy's mother whispered. She's been struggling with this. I tried everything. I begged for the day off, but we're understaffed. I told her I would come to her class later, but she must have felt left out. Michael swallowed, feeling the weight of her pain. May I make a suggestion? Please. What if I go with her? Not as a replacement for you, just as someone who can support her today. As a volunteer. I don't even know you, Mrs. Chen said, fear trembling in her voice. My name is Michael Sterling, he replied calmly. I run Sterling Technologies. You can verify everything online. I'll send my ID, LinkedIn, whatever you want. He paused, voice softer now. I know what it's like to sit alone while everyone else has a parent there. And if I can make it easier for her today, I'd really like to. There was a long silence. Lucy stared up at him, hope lighting her face like the sun rising. Why would you do that? Her mother finally whispered. Michael looked at Lucy. Small, brave, trying so hard not to cry. Because sometimes life gives us a rare chance to do something good, he said quietly. And I'm starting to realize I haven't taken enough of those chances. 1 hour later, after video calls with Lucy's mom, ID checks, and a surprisingly thorough online background search, Michael found himself standing outside the front gates of Lucy's school. Lucy's small hand was wrapped around his, the wrinkled $50 safely tucked back into her pocket. She looked up at him with a mix of nerves and excitement. Remember, Michael said gently, leaning down a little, I'm not pretending to be your dad. I'm just a friend helping today. I know, Lucy nodded, smiling shyly. Mom explained everything. Inside, the school buzzed with energy. Laughter echoed through the halls, posters lined the walls, and proud parents walked beside their kids. Michael suddenly felt more nervous than he had during any CEO keynote speech. They entered the gym, filled with folding chairs and colorful banners. Then they headed to Lucy's classroom where kids were already introducing their parents. Lucy tugged his hand and marched forward like a proud little general. This is Mr. Sterling, she declared. He's my friend and he's going to talk about his job. Her teacher, a kind-looking woman in her 50s with soft eyes, smiled warmly. Welcome, Mr. Sterling, and what do you do? I run a technology company, Michael explained. We build software that helps hospitals work better and faster so doctors and nurses can take care of more people. Tiny faces stared up at him with curiosity. He kept his words simple, painting pictures instead of using big corporate jargon. Imagine if computers could help nurses spend less time doing paperwork and more time helping kids like you feel better. That's what we try to do. Lucy sat in the front row, back straight, eyes shining like she'd brought a superhero to school. When he finished, little hands shot up. Are you rich? A boy asked bluntly, drawing giggles. Michael smiled. I've been lucky, he answered honestly. A girl raised her hand. Why are you here if you're not Lucy's dad? Michael glanced at Lucy, who held her breath. Because she asked, he said softly. And sometimes showing up for someone is the most important thing you can do. Something shifted in the room. Even the teacher blinked back emotion. When the event ended, Michael walked Lucy home through quiet city streets. She skipped beside him, humming. Outside a small apartment building, a woman in hospital scrubs rushed out, exhausted, anxious, and trembling with relief. Mom! Lucy cried, sprinting into her arms. Jennifer Chen held her daughter as if she never wanted to let go. Then she turned to Michael, eyes filled with grateful tears. Thank you, she whispered. You didn't have to do this. I wanted to, Michael said simply. And he meant it. Jennifer hesitated, then offered a warm, tired smile. Would you like to come up for tea? He nodded. Their apartment was small but cozy, walls decorated with Lucy's drawings, family photos, and little notes of encouragement taped to the fridge. A home full of love, not wealth, yet somehow richer than any penthouse he'd ever stepped into. I've been raising Lucy alone since she was 2, Jennifer said softly, pouring tea while Lucy played in her room. Her father left when life got hard. Bills, stress. He walked away, said he wasn't built for responsibility. I'm sorry, Michael murmured. Jennifer shook her head. No, We're better without someone who runs when things get real. But it hurts her sometimes, especially when she sees other kids with dads. She sighed, brushing a loose strand of hair behind her ear. What you did today, you have no idea how much that meant. Michael hesitated. She tried to pay me, he said quietly. $50. Jennifer let out a breath that was half laugh, half heartbreak. She's been saving that allowance for months. I didn't know why until now. Something warmed and ached inside Michael at the same time. Days passed, then weeks, and in those weeks, something unexpected took root in Michael's life. He kept thinking about Lucy, her tiny, serious face, her brave little voice offering everything she had. So one evening he called, "Jennifer? I was wondering, could I take Lucy to the Science Museum this weekend? Just as a thank you for reminding me what kindness looks like." Jennifer paused, unsure, then finally said yes. That museum trip turned into a monthly tradition. Then monthly became weekly. Soon Michael was adjusting board meetings around Lucy's soccer games and school plays, cheering louder than any parent there. Sometimes Jennifer joined them. And to his surprise, Michael found himself drawn to her too. She was smart, funny, resilient, and unlike everyone else in his world, she didn't treat him like a CEO, just a man trying to be good. "Money doesn't make you interesting," she teased once. "But the way you listen to Lucy, that does." 6 months after that day in the park, they sat together watching Lucy chase bubbles in the sunlight. "Can I ask you something?" Jennifer said, "and why did you really say yes that day?" Lucy was a stranger with $50. Most people would have walked away. Michael's voice went quiet. "My father. He was there, but never really there. I spent years trying to succeed just to prove I didn't need him. But the truth is," his voice cracked, "I grew up wishing just once someone would show up for me without asking for anything." He looked at Lucy, laughing freely in the distance. When she looked at me with hope, I saw a chance to be the person I needed. A chance to matter for something other than money or power. Jennifer reached for his hand, her voice soft. "You matter to us. Both of us." He turned, meeting her eyes. "I've fallen in love with both of you," he confessed. "With Lucy's joy, and your strength. With the family you built out of nothing but love." Jennifer smiled through tears. "We're not a conventional family." He squeezed her hand. "Neither am I. That's why it works." They married a year later in a small ceremony. Lucy walked proudly as the flower girl, sprinkling petals like magic. During the reception, Lucy tugged on Michael's sleeve. "Can I tell you something?" "Always. That day in the park, when I gave you the $50, I was really scared you'd say no." Michael knelt to her level. "I almost did," he admitted. "But I'm so grateful I didn't." Lucy smiled, eyes shining. "Because now I have a real dad. Not just for one day." Michael hugged her tightly. "And I have you." Then he reached in his wallet and pulled out a crumpled $50 bill, the same one she offered him on that park bench. "This is yours," he whispered. "You never needed to pay for love. You just had to ask." Lucy held it, then gently placed it back in his hand. "Can we save it?" she asked. "To remember the day we became a family?" Tears filled his eyes. "That's the best idea I've ever heard." Years later, that $50 bill hung framed in their hallway, a symbol of the day life changed forever. A reminder that the greatest gifts cost nothing, and family isn't always blood. Sometimes it's a choice. Sometimes it's a miracle. Michael spent years chasing wealth, but it took a brave little girl with a wrinkled $50 to teach him what being rich truly meant. Sometimes the smallest request becomes the biggest blessing. Sometimes one day changes every day after. And sometimes the person asking for help is the one who saves you. If this story touched you, hit like, share it with someone, and subscribe for more stories that remind us love is the greatest investment we can ever make.